Not a sea bass. Not a sea bass. Not a sea bass. Not a sea bass. No! Oh, it's white because they nerfed it.
I don't wanna know, baby. I don't wanna know, yeah.
I could have gone with the Danny DeVito thing, but that's just too easy. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ponzi Gaming, and I gotta fix my nose. And today, we are going to be talking about how to make you the most money by creating your very own Tarantula Island in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you like jokes? Of course you do, you're watching me. I am one. But if you like jokes, let me ask you a follow-up question. Do you like games that you've never heard of? Ah, I piqued your interest. Make sure that you guys watch the last episode of Under the Radar, where I review Bloody Roar, an action arcade game that was originally released in Japan and ported to the PlayStation 1. It's good stuff. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna love it. Before we get into this tutorial here, make sure that you guys have hit the bell, followed me on Twitter, liked this video, share it if you found it informative, and without further ado, we will take my messed up bunny face and teach you how to start making some bells. I've noticed that a handful of videos came out in March about making your own Tarantula Island, so I'm a little late to the punch here at this party. Sorry guys, Bell's palsy is a real thing and I had to take some time off. That being said, it has allowed me extra time to compile the necessary information for you guys while being the most accurate. After all, what did I have better to do with a paralyzed face than play Animal Crossing?
This man is a genius.
As with everything on the internet, when people rush videos, they may accidentally give you some misinformation. Not purposely, of course. Most people are just trying to help. There are a lot of fantastic videos out there and a lot of fantastic info out there, but I've been able to gather together some of the correct information through my own research using my own methods, and I do believe that this is going to guarantee you the highest spawns when creating a Tarantula Island. There are a few things that you're going to need in order to create your own personal Tarantula Island in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You're going to need your tools, so your shovel, your axe, etc. Bring at least 5 hardwood, 5 sticks, and 5 regular wood. I also recommend throwing in probably 2 to 3 iron nugs as well. Leave your slingshot at home. You're not gonna need it where you're going. It's a waste of inventory space. The reason that you're bringing these extra crafting tools with you is just in case you break a tool on Bamboo Island, which only has coconut trees. Therefore, if you break a tool, you won't have the means to replace it while you're creating the spawn pads. However, you could get lucky and get exactly the wood that you need from the coconut trees, but let's not chance it. And the sticks are there, of course. If you break your net, you can make another one. Chances are you will more than likely break your net while you're catching all of your tarantulas. Don't worry.
Be happy.
It does not hurt to bring these extra materials just in case you need to make more. It's okay to drop these materials on the island as you're filling up with your creepy crawlies if you no longer need them. And of course, we're gonna get in depth shortly. Bear with me. Another thing to keep in mind too, if you do happen to forget one of the tools that you need in order to repair or create a new item, you can go right down to Wilbur if you've got the extra Nook miles and buy the item that you need. The only thing that you have to worry about is your axe, because if you don't have an iron nugget, you're not gonna be able to upgrade it, and then you won't be able to cut down the trees that you need to cut down in order to make this happen. You'll also want to make sure that you have a Nook Miles ticket, so hopefully you got at least 2,000 miles saved up. I actually recommend having a little bit more than that, like I would probably say anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000, whereas some have said that you can make Tarantula Island on any island. You can't. That's not true. There's a good chance that you're going to have to go to a couple islands to make sure that you can find one that has a suitable spawning pad. You'll also want to be sure that you're in the time of year where you can catch tarantulas as well. If you're on current time, congrats, they're available in the month of April. It should go without saying that you can't exactly create a farm to spawn them if you're not in the correct time of year or time of day, but just in case, I'm throwing it out there, because I love you guys.
Yay, then get boost mode!
Tarantulas spawn between 7 p.m. and 4 a.m. and are only available from November to April. That being said, keep in mind, if you start an island at 6:30 and you have it cleared and ready to spawn tarantulas by 7, there is a chance that tarantulas won't spawn, because once you go to an island, it locks in your time of day and keeps those spawn rates of what you were getting. So keep that in mind, unless they update it in a patch after this video, which is a possibility. And now that we've established all that, empty your inventory of any items that you don't need other than your tools, and make a run to your airport. It's time to take a flight using that Nook Miles ticket. All right, now for the nitty-gritty.
Please save all your questions until the end of the lecture. Thank you.
First things first, here's a photo of the islands that I was able to dig up online that has some detailed maps of the island. Now, I can tell you which ones will not work to create a tarantula farm. Credit to the Reddit user, uTrollMZ, if I'm saying that right, who made a map of these islands just so we have a visual. I'll link the Reddit post in the description. I do believe that there are some not mentioned on here, so here are those as well. Contrary to popular belief, again, like stated earlier, you cannot make Tarantula Island on absolutely any island you find.
One quick thing to clarify as well, the map that was there, he didn't go through and make which ones were compatible with Tarantula Island. I went through and kind of circled and X'd out the ones that aren't. There are a couple in there that I X'd out that you technically could make a Tarantula Island on, but it's not worth your time, and we're going to explain here shortly why.
Money Rock Island won't work. If you happen to stumble across Tarantula Island normally without having to create it, that one will also not work. You can't create something into Tarantula Island that already is. Just a joke, guys, lighten up.
It's not funny!
The 3-tier islands that have 3 hills with no water and the rocks on the very top, those ones will not work as well. At least no insects were spawning when I did try it. I did clear them out and give it a shot. And let's be honest, even if it did work, it would have been extremely inefficient having to climb every level to get to every tarantula. It really just isn't worth it at that point. There are specific islands that Animal Crossing has that do not have bug spawns.
Why?
So you have to keep that in mind. And finally, although it can work on Waterfall Island, I do not recommend it. Now let me explain. Since the month of April has gotten here, giant water bugs have become catchable. They interfere with spawn rates of every other bug, and they spawn like crazy. So when you're creating the spawning pad for the tarantulas, you have to bear in mind the other things that are going to spawn. So I don't recommend Spiral Island, I don't recommend Waterfall Island, or any island that has a lot of water. If it has 1, maybe 2 ponds, go for it. That's not too bad. And avoid islands that have 3 levels or cliffs. Bamboo Island is the perfect island. Once you obtain it, you may as well jump right out of your seat and start shouting. It is guaranteed to give you the fastest spawn rates. So now that we know exactly what sort of island we're looking for, we can start to set it up. You're gonna cut down every tree, including the stumps. Pick every weed, pick every flower, and then dig them up after. It's important that you pick them first. You will also destroy every rock on the island of your choice as well. Now that you've got all of these flowers in your inventory, start planting them on the beach. Now you might be asking yourself, why are we doing this? Let me explain. Picking the flowers first stops bugs from spawning on them, as most bugs on the island require flower petals to spawn. We go as far as to dig them up and move them to the beach, as spiders do not spawn on sand. Thus it allows for more space on the so-called spawning pad that we have created. Now that we've got a blank canvas, the game only has a few options of what to spawn, and thus tarantulas spawn. You may also officially drop all of your extra tools on the beach as well that you don't need. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure that with anything that you need to drop it all on the beach. Do not drop anything on grass. Spideys only spawn on grass, so anything on the grass interferes with the spawn pad. Typically, it's best to drop everything other than your net and one other item that you want to keep. Let me explain. If you've ever seen somebody that has been to Tarantula Island, 9 times out of 10, the photo will have their inventory full of tarantulas and then the net. You can actually make it so that your inventory is full of tarantulas and something else. It doesn't have to be the net. In my opinion, I actually recommend doing it with iron nuggets. So rather than dropping everything but the net and the tarantulas, hold on to 2 items in your inventory, the net and your iron nuggets. Then, when you're full on tarantulas, you can catch a tarantula. It will ask, oh, should I swap it or drop it? Swap it with the nugs, then unequip your net, pick up the nugs, swap it with the net, boom, you got nugs and tarantulas. It's the most value.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
And you can do that with any item. If you wanted coconuts for whatever reason, you can do it with coconuts. If you wanted a rare flower or something that's on the island that you don't have, you could grab that too. Whatever you want. But it makes sense to do it that way. Don't take your net. It's really inexpensive. You can just make another one. Congrats! The hard part's over. Now that you've got the spawning pad, here's what's left to know about this. Any bug spawn will offset the tarantula spawn rate. Make sure that you're running up to the gray rocks on the beach, scaring off the wharf roaches, and scaring off the tiger beetles that spawn everywhere else.
Another thing to note in my research that I did as well, I was putting items on the gray rocks to see if possibly maybe I could, offset the spawns of the wharf roaches. It does not work, unfortunately. It was worth a shot, but don't waste your time.
If you have chosen to do this on an island that has some water on it, you'll notice that the spawns are much lower for the spideys. Giant water beetles will begin to spawn like madmen after these islands are cleared. In order to keep your tarantula spawn rates high, you will unfortunately have to catch the water bugs and then release them if you don't want them. Which you don't, right? That's why you're here. It's a very slow process. I actually recommend waiting for Bamboo Island as it's not that rare and it's less tedious. That being said, a full inventory of tarantulas is worth about 300 grand. So if you do end up spending a couple hours on an island that spawns water bugs in which you have to catch and release, honestly, it's still probably worth it.
That's everything for today, guys. Hopefully you found this tutorial informative. If you did, make sure that you've hit the bell, subscribe, follow me everywhere, and share this video to get the word out to others so it can help them as well. I do have other tutorials in the works, and I've got good videos on the way, so please stay up to date with this channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!
What's left of me here what's left of me now.